Okay, welcome back everybody again. So we are once again looking at this line of code. I'm sorry for the previous video, I forgot to make this text bigger, so I'm sorry that it is quite small. But from now on I will remember to do that, so I do apologize for that. So once again I forgot to include this, so I'm going to include this quickly so you guys can see else if statement, so that I know for a fact where that curly brace is coming from. Once again, my convention, you don't need to follow this. And it really irritates me when there's no spaces between contents because I like to read really quickly. So let's say I want to show you guys what's called an if statement. I already did that. A switch statement. A switch statement is kind of the exact same concept of this right here, of this if statement, but with just so little typing, which is awesome. So a switch statement is literally going to switch the logic based on a condition. So we're going to look at that quickly. And how you start out a switch statement is very simply, you type switch, you see that it is going to go, it's going to go this color for you because it is a keyword. It's going to have its parentheses again, and then it's going to have its curly braces, because once again, this is block level coding. We are coding a block right now. And I'll write my little statement to myself so that I know for a fact where this ends, and we're good. So this is a switch statement. Now what goes in here is basically whatever thing you want to switch to. So here, notice we used user search a lot. We're going to try that out here. So we're going to go user search. So user search is basically going to change whatever the user selects in. So how you build a switch statement is you do case. Once again, you see that it turned to a keyword. Then you're going to do a string. You can do an integer if you're dealing with integers, but we're dealing with strings right now. So we're going to do a string, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do the Punisher. And you're going to go like this. And then basically all your stuff that you want to do if user search equals Punisher is going to lie into here. So once we're in, we're just going to console log true. And that's literally it for a switch statement. Oh, I forgot one key thing. Always include a break statement. Break statements are very important with switch statements. You will get a huge error if you don't. Well, I don't know about huge, but you know what I mean. It will not work very nicely if you don't include that. Because basically what that's doing is saying like, okay, the case was true. Now what do I do? So you need to provide the computer an escape route, if you will. So basically what you're doing is you're just saying, okay, we've already tested it, we've already found out it's true, get out of there. So basically it's going to exit the switch statement immediately. What am I doing? Oh yeah, true. And I'm actually going to include that break out of there so you can guys see an example of an error. Errors are just part of coding's life. I'm just saying, don't be discouraged when you hit an error. It is just part of life. And then what you do is you Google the crap out of whatever the error is telling you, and then you find people who have run into the same error, and those people have reached out to other people, and then they'll tell you how to get out of it. That's the. Remember, this is case sensitive, so capitalization will matter here. So for example, if I did this and the user input was Friday capital, then it would not find that. There is a way to fix that, and we'll get into that later. True. And then with programming, or sorry, with the switch statement, there's something called a default, if I can spell. And notice that it changed colors again, it's a keyword. So what a default does is saying, hey, if none of these are true, or it doesn't hit any of the cases, it's literally going to default to this case. So once again, you don't need to include a default statement. It's like the else statement right here. You don't need to include that if you don't want to. But if you feel like you need it in your program, then just throw it in there. This is a great way to test user input. Like maybe there's a spelling mistake or something, then you say, hey, this doesn't relate to anything. So let's go ahead and run this code. Once again, I'm going to comment out this. So that actually doesn't really matter. We'll keep that in. And notice we got a true at line 56. Bam. So that one had a break statement in it. So let's try it without a break statement. And let me guess, it's going to be like the one time it's going to work. So you notice that it hit every single condition, right? So it hit multiple conditions. It hit 51. And then, go away, go away, go away. It hit 53. So it hit multiple ones because you didn't have that break statement in. So it flew through the program until it hit a break statement. And then once again, if we console log this out again, we only get one. So it's going to hit every single one until it hits a break statement. So it's very important that you include this break statement in every condition, which I did not here. So this is very simply a very switch statement. But I want you to notice something. You see the amount of, I actually think, yeah, Sublime will do this for you. So you see down here it says it's 340 characters. So if you go up here, see how it's less? So a switch statement generally has less lines of code and less typing, so it's easier to do a switch statement. So you can do a switch statement or an if-else statement. It is your preference. But a switch statement, in my opinion, for this type of thing, makes it neater. It makes it a little easier to see what's going on and the conditions that you need to hit. Now, granted, if I'm only testing two conditions, like if I only had two things in this array, I wouldn't do a switch statement. I would do an if statement. So basically, it's a user preference of what you're going to use. So this is an example of what a switch statement is. I have Googled how to do a switch statement in Java more times I want to admit, because sometimes I forget that you need this colon here or you need a break statement, so don't be afraid to Google this. All right, we're going to come back with another way to search through this array. Okay, thank you.